Hi, my name is Alisha Farzana binti Fazlin, and you can call me Alisha. Let me introduce you to our C++ program. This C++ program is a comprehensive student grading system designed to manage and analyze student performance data effectively. It calculates the GPA for students based on their grade across various subjects. The program also provides detailed performance statistics, including the highest and lowest for each subject and the distribution of grades among students. The program features a menu-driven interface for easy navigation, enabling users to enter student data, display statistics, and perform other functions seamlessly. By presenting individual and overall student statistics in a structured format, this tool aids educational institutions in effectively managing and assessing academic performance.
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Nabil Aziz bin Shamsuniza and you guys can call me Nabil. So, in this video, I'll be presenting about project summary for our student grading system project. The student grading system is developed to make grading and checking marks an easy task for lecturers at Kuala Pilah. The system facilitates GPA calculation, displays grades according to the inputted marks, and showcases exam results. In days gone by, lecturers had to sacrifice their time and energy to manually input grades, which was both exhausting and time-consuming. This project aims to alleviate this problem by introducing a system that makes grading a simple and effortless process. The student grading system not only focuses on streamlining the grading process for lecturers, but also provides a GPA calculation. The system will calculate the GPA based on the grades that the students achieve. This system calculates for 3 subjects, and each subject has the credit hours of 3.0, which makes it 9.0 in total. The formula that is used to calculate the GPA is as shown on the screen up here. This way, lecturers do not have to manually calculate each student's GPA, which is tiring and a waste of time. With this system, users only have to input the grades and the system will calculate and display them. The students' grading system also allows lecturers to check the statistics on students' performance. This part of the system will showcase the proportion of students in different grade ranges, allowing lecturers to see how many students fail and pass a certain subject. Additionally, with the use of array, void function, for loop, if-else selection, and function return value, we will be able to construct and form the functionality of the code. These methods will be used to store data, calculate GPA, control the flow of the program, and manage input and output efficiently. Finally, the student grading system is developed with a practical focus for lecturers and a hope to enhance the learning environment. This system emphasizes on creating an application that is efficient for lecturers by providing a time-saving tool for grading and analyzing students' performances. This system can lessen the workload of lecturers, enabling them to focus on teaching and other important work, and ultimately, this system strives to improve educational outcomes by providing an efficient and effective tool.
Our objective is to provide a system for lecturers to check exam results, to provide facilities for lecturers to check results, to calculate grades based on student scores, and to display the examination results as well as to record the examination slips.
Now, I will talk about analysis in this program. The first one is input, which user need number of students. Lecturers begin by entering the number of students, which must be a positive integer. Next, student name. They input the student name as a string, allowing for full name with space to ensure accurate record keeping. Third, student ID. Each student ID is identified by a unique ID captured as an integer. Finally, lecturers enter the percentage mark for each subject, captured as a float to accommodate precise scoring. Next, let's dive into the process involved in our system. First, GPA calculation using the formula grade pointer times credit hour divide total credit hour equal to GPA. This ensures a precise and reliable GPA calculation based on user input. Next, grade conversion. Percentage marks are converted into grade using a nested if statement. For example, a mark between 90 to 100 is converted into an A+. Third, evaluating examination result Based on the GPA, a nested if structure determines whether a student pass. Lastly, repetition for multiple subjects using a sentinel loop, enabling lecturers to enter data for all courses a student is enrolled in. Finally, for the output is student information output, which the program will display the student name, student ID. Next, it also provides a structure method for displaying the 2 GPA based on the calculation. Next, subject details. This program will display all the subject taken detail including marks entered by the user in the form of examination slip. Lastly, student statistics. Overall student performance statistics are provided including the number of students, the highest mark and the lowest mark. This allows lecturer to quickly assess the class performance.
Next, I will be explaining about the flowchart for the main function of the program. So first, the program will instruct the user to enter the choice and then it will enter the switch structure. Inside the switch structure, if the user enters number 1, it will instruct the user to enter the number of students. Next, the program will do a function call for input student data function. And lastly, the program will do a function call for display menu and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user enters number 2, the program will do a function call for calculate GPA function. After that, the program will do a function recall for calculate num students equal to display all GPA in bracket num students name, ID, GPA. And lastly, the function call for display menu will happen and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user enters number 3, the program will instruct the user to enter the student ID and the function call for display results will happen. Lastly, the program will do a function call for display menu function and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user enter number 4, the program will do a function call for display stat1 function. Lastly, the function call for display menu will happen and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user enter number 5, the program will instruct the user to enter the student ID. Next, the function call for display stat function will happen. And lastly, the program will do a function call for display menu function and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If none of the numbers were entered by the user, the program will display exiting the program and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. After the switch structure, the program will evaluate the condition for while choice not equal to 6, and if the condition is true, the program will loop by prompting the user to enter their choice. If the condition is false, the looping will not occur and the program will end. So next, I'll be showing you the flowchart for the other functions available in our program. So this is the flowchart for void display menu. Next, this is the flowchart for void input student data. Then we have the flowchart for void calculate GPA. After that, we have the flowchart for integer display all GPA. After that, we also have the flowchart for void display results. This is the flowchart for the void display stat1. And lastly, this is the flowchart for the function void display stat. With that said, that is all the flowcharts available for every functions in our program. Hi, it's me, Nabil again. So this time, I'll be explaining the pseudocode for the main function of the program. So first, the program will instruct the user to enter their choice and then it will enter the switch structure. So inside the switch structure, if the user enters the number 1, it will instruct the user to enter the number of students. Next, the function recall for input student data function will happen to allow the user to enter all the data required for the program. And lastly, the function recall for display menu will happen to display the menu available for the user to choose, and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user enters the number 2, the function recall for calculate GPA function will happen to calculate the GPA based on data entered by the user. After that, the function recall for calculate num students equal to display all GPA in bracket num students name, ID and GPA will happen to display the calculated GPA to the user. And lastly, the function recall for display menu will happen to display the menu available for the user to choose, and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user enters the number 3, the program will instruct the user to enter the student ID, and the function recall for display results will happen to display the GPA and the results of the student with a matching ID. Lastly, the function recall for display menu will happen to display the menu available for the user to choose, and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user entered the number 4, the function recall for display stat1 function will happen to display the statistics of all subjects based on each grade. And lastly, the function recall for display menu will happen to display the menu available for the user to choose, and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If the user entered the number 5, the program will instruct the user to enter the student ID. Next, the function recall for display stat function will happen to display the individual statistics of a matching student ID. Lastly, the function recall for display menu will happen to display the menu available for the user to choose, and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. If none of the numbers were entered by the user, the program will display exiting the program, and the break statement will be executed to exit the switch structure. After the switch structure, the program will evaluate the condition for while choice not equal to 6, and if the condition is true, the program will loop by prompting the user to enter their choice again. And if the condition is false, the looping. Next, let me show you the pseudocode for other functions in this program. This is the pseudocode for void display menu. Next, we have the pseudocode for void input student data. Then, we have the pseudocode for void calculate GPA. This is the pseudocode for integer display or GPA. Next, we have the pseudocode for void display results. This is the pseudocode for void display stat1. And lastly, we have the pseudocode for the function void display stat. So that is all the functions that are available in our program.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Today I'm excited to present a program designed to damage student data and calculate GPA using C++ with a focus on course CSC126, CHM213 and MIC211. Let's dive into how our program is instructed. We have several key points. This is function prototype. This define what function our program will use, including displaying menu, imputing student data, calculating GPA, displaying result, and displaying statistics. Let's begin with an overview of how our program is structured. This is where the program execution starts. It handles variable initialization, menu, display, and function call. And we have array and variable setup to store student ID, names, course grade, GPA calculation, and grade statistic for course. This array and variable are crucial for store student information, calculating GPA, and determining the highest and lowest grade recorded in each course. Now, let's explore how user interact with our program through the menu option. Let's left into first case of our program as the users to input the number of students. Moving on the second case, execute calculate GPA to compute GPA for each student based on their course grade like A, B, C, D, and E. So this like case 3 for this display result based on number student including for each subject, name, ID, GPA, and ID2. And can case 4 also display the statistic. This slide, the user enter the number, student ID, and our program can display statistic based on the ID2, num student name and subject. And the last case is exiting the program when the user enters 6 and default is invalid choice. Our program revolves around a menu system that allows users to interact with various functionalities. At the heart of this interface is the display menu function, which presents user with several options to manage and analyze student data. This menu structure offers several key functional input student data. Student data allow user to input data like student ID, name, and course grade. Display GPA. Compute and display the GPA for each student based on their grade. And display student examination slip provide detailed information about each student. And display overall statistic is show general statistic about grade distribution and highest and lowest. And display individual statistic is a provide detailed statistic for each. And the exit terminate user interaction and user interact with the program by selecting option from this menu, enabling them to perform tasks like data entry, GPA calculation, and statistical analysis. I will be walking you guys through the process of inputting student data using our program. Highlighting the input student data function, our program is designed to manage student data efficiently. One of its core functionality is the ability to input detail like student name, ID, and course mark using the input student data function. Like I will be explaining the calculate GPA function, our program, which is essential of computing GPA and analyzing student performance. Our program including a feature-rich GPA calculation system designed to evaluate student grade across multiple courses. The calculate GPA function play a central role in the process. The function determine grade based on predefined threshold and calculate corresponding GPA pointer for each student is course like CSC126, CHM213, and MIC211. Statistical tracking. It also tracks statistics such as count for each grade category like A, B, C, and D or F, and identify the highest and lowest grade recorded in each course. Interaction with our program by inputting student grade, enabling real-time GPA calculation and statistical. Now I will be illustrating how our program calculates grade and GPA for students using the example of the CSC course. Our program includes a sophisticated grading system that assign grade compute GPA based on predefined threshold for like CSC 126. This logic defined grade based on a percentage threshold range from A plus to F. Each grade corresponds to a specific GPA pointer that contribute to the student overall GPA calculation. We also track count for each category A plus, A minus, B plus, B, and so on. Providing insight to the distribution of grade among users can also interact with our program by imputing student grade, allowing for real-time GPA computation and detailed grade analysis. This slide same for calculate grade GPA for CHM213. The slide same also for calculate GPA for MIC 211. Let's continue exploring our program. GPA calculation and statistical analysis feature will cover how grades are trailed, highest and lowest score are taken, and overall statistic insights are derived after determining grade for each student. Our program update grade count across all students, and this process ensure student grade distribution is accurately recorded, allowing for detailed analysis of academic performance across multiple courses. Additionally, our program track to highest and lowest for each course. Let's dive into how our C++ program calculates the GPA for each student based on their course grade. The GPA is a compute using the following weighted formula within our program. Here, each course GPA pointer is weighted according to its credit hours. For instance, MIC 211 contribute 3.0 credit hours, CHM 213 contribute 3.0 credit hours, and CAC 126 contribute 3.0 credit hours. The total 9.0 represent the sum of the credit hours for each subject. This formula ensures the comprehensive calculation of GPA, reflecting the relative importance of each course in the overall academic performance evaluation. Let's explore how our C++ program displays the GPA result for each student using the display or GPA function. Users interact with our program to view and analyze GPA result, facilitating informed decision making regarding student academic performance. Let's explore how our C++ program display our overall statistic for grade in course CAC126, CHM213, and MIC211 using the display statistics 1 function. The function organizes and presents overall statistic for grade each course. Here, the function organizes the present comprehensive statistic for grade across CAC126, CHM213, and MIC211 course, showcasing count for each grade category and highlighting the highest and lowest score for each course. Users interact with our program to analyze overall statistics, supporting academic evaluation and planning based on distribution and score S3. Explore how our C++ program display examination slip result for a specific student using this display statistic. The function organizes and presents examination slip result including course score, and graphic function provide a detailed examination slip and for a specific student, showcasing score in a course CAC126, CHM213, and MIC211, along with a total count for each grade category. Interact with our program to view specific student examination slip results, supporting academic evaluation and monitoring of grade distribution. So as you can see, here is the sample input and output. So welcome to the student grading system demonstration. In this part, we will walk you through the key features and functionalities of our application. Here, you can see several options that guide you through different features of the system. The main menu includes the following option: input student data, display GPA, display student examination slip, display overall statistic, display individual statistic, and exit. Select one, input student data from the menu. First, let's input some student data. This section allows us to enter details such as student names, ID number, and their respective grade. For example, we enter the student name, their ID number, and the grade they have received in various subjects. Select to display GPA from the menu. Next, we can display the GPA for each student. The system calculates the GPA based on the input grade and display the result clearly. Here you can see the calculate GPA for the student we enter earlier. Select 3. Display student examination slip from the menu. We also provide the option to display a student examination slip. This slip shows all the subject and the grade received by the student. This detailed view helps student and educator review the performance in each subject. Select 4. Display overall statistic from the menu. For a broader perspective, the system can display overall statistic. This includes data like average grade across all students and subjects. This statistic provide valuable insight into the overall performance trends. Select 5. Display individual statistic from the menu. Additionally, individual statistic can be displayed. These features show detailed performance metrics for a specific student. It's a great way to track and analyze the progress of each student. Select 6. Exit from the menu. Finally, you can exit the program by selecting the exit option. This concludes our demonstration of the student grading system.
In this project, we developed a comprehensive student grading system designed to make grading and managing students' marks an effortless process. The primary objectives were to create a system that minimizes manual mistakes, simplifies the calculation of GPAs, and generates statistic reports for lecturers. The final product successfully met this goal, offering an intuitive interface that facilitates GPA calculation and provides statistics. Methods were implemented in the coding process in order to successfully achieve our aims. Starting with a void function where the function name of display menu was used to display the menu. This function is called at the main function to display the options available to the user. The function name of input student data is used to input student data. This function collects and stores data for each student. It uses repetition for loop statements, allowing users to insert data for multiple students. Besides that, the function name of calculate GPA is used to calculate GPA based on the marks inputted by the user. This function calculates the GPA for each student based on their marks in 3 subjects. Using repetition for loop statement, it assigns grade points using two-way if-else selection based on a predefined scale and then it calculates the GPA. The implementation of array in this function is to keep the marks of students for each subject, save the calculated GPA for each student, as well as keeping track of the number of students achieving grades for each subject. This allows us to assign highest and lowest marks for each subject using two-way if-else selection, as well as allowing the program to save data for statistic report. Then, a function return value with the function name of display all GPA is used to showcase the GPA of all students. With the use of repetition for loops, statements, and arrays, it allows the program to go through each student's GPA and display it as well as showcasing the student's name, ID, and GPA. In the end, the function will return the number of students processed. In addition, the function name of display results is also used to display results. This function displays the name, student ID, marks, and student's GPA. The use of repetition for loop statement allows it to display result for multiple students. Then, the function name of display stat1 is used to display the breakdown of how many students receive each grade for each subject. Then, the function name of display stat1 is used to display the breakdown of how many students receive each grade for each subject. It uses integer counters like count grade CSC126A1 to track the number of students who received each grade in each subject. This function displays highest and lowest mark for each subject and showcases its content in a table form, giving the program a well-designed and neat touch. Moving on to the function name of display start, this function displays the student details and the results achieved for each subject, as well as the statistic of each grade received by the student. It goes to several links, which includes the student ID to look up, the array that keeps all of the student IDs, the total number of students, the array of student names, and arrays for grade analysis. This function ends with the lecturer's name. Lastly, the main function displays a menu and prompts users for choices, allowing users interaction. A do-while loop makes sure that the menu is displayed and continues to ask the user for a choice until the user decides to exit the program by choosing option 5. Various A Swift selection is used to manage the different options the program has to offer by executing the instruction based on the option chosen by users. This creates a system with a good user interface, ensuring the users a pleasant experience while using the program. In conclusion, this project achieved its aim of developing a functional and an easy-to-use student grading system. The coding methods implemented in the system set the seal on producing a high-quality product. The intuitive interface and the beneficial capabilities the system has to offer make it a valuable tool for users and ultimately enhance the efficiency and accuracy of academic assessment.